Greetings, this is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Today's talk focuses on the slow sales being experienced by the Chevy Bolt. And the big question is, why does this affect Tesla? And the answer is part of our discussion today. Bonjour, begehst besteeds nog eenmaal bij mijn Zdravstvuyte, ni hao ma, buongiorno, guten Tag. This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. This morning, the morning of the 19th of July 2017, it was announced that the Chevy Bolt would now begin, they were going to stop production because they have greater than 70 days worth of supply, and they would not restart production until those supplies had been sold off. There is another vehicle that's selling slowly from that plant, so that possibly could be an impactor to this. But this brings up a really interesting point about investing in Tesla and what I call the ecosystem challenge. So it turns out that the conventional wisdom was that as soon as someone came out with a 200-mile-in-range vehicle, consumers would immediately flock to that vehicle and stop buying Teslas, is one of the ways in which this was supposed to play out. What's actually happened is that, just like Apple, there's an issue of not only having your 200-mile vehicle available, there's also the issue of can you supercharge that vehicle? A scenario that comes to mind that was experienced by an executive friend of mine is he's the owner of a Nissan Leaf in San Francisco. When he drives to work from Palo Alto, it's about a 35-mile drive. He has an 80-mile range on his Leaf. So by the time he got there, listened to the radio, or had AC on, his battery is a little bit low. And he has to wait from 8 or 9 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon before he can leave his office and go home, because that's how long it takes to recharge his vehicle. In the case of the Chevy Bolt, similar situation. Yes, you have more mileage, so you don't have to necessarily charge up that quickly. But the issue that's popping up is if you have the choice between a vehicle that has supercharger abilities to solve any short-term distance issues, as well as allowing you to do long-distance trips, why would you purchase a car that does not have that supercharger capability? So, in my mind, it's quite clear why the consumers are saying, you know, early adopters might be interested in getting a Bolt to see whether or not it's viable. But at this point, they're ceasing production for a while. They're expanding from just basically the west coast of America into all 50 states to try to get the dealer network to sell off the current inventory before more are produced. It was also stated that one dealer had 200 units worth of supply, and I'm intrigued. And obviously, you can ship that to other dealers if there are orders for it, but this further illustrates the point that the target market they were after showed up for an initial burst of sales but disappeared, while the line for the Teslas is still long. The other thing about Bolt is that I don't think it's a quick and easy solution to the shortcomings they have, because number one, you can't supercharge a packet-driven battery set. So if you try to hook up a Chevy Bolt to a supercharger, even if it's not Tesla's, the issue you run into is there's gas production during the rapid charging for the type of battery pack chosen by the Bolt. So as a result, that gas produced at high-speed charging can cause an explosion. And this explosion obviously is a good reason to maintain the slow charging process and not risk destroying your vehicle, your house, whatever is around it. I think this is unfortunate. I mean, it's good for Tesla that the Bolt has experienced this lack of success. I think it's a little disappointing because GM spent a good 15 years developing the motor for this engine, and they're buying the batteries from Korea. But the fact that they didn't anticipate things like supercharging, as well as having a reliable battery supply with batteries capable of supercharging is an issue. And I think they're, before there's inventory for them to buy of those type of batteries, I think you're in the 2 or 3 years away time frame, which gives Tesla even more of an opportunity to establish itself as the go-to solution for most consumers in the electric space. If I were the head of GM and I was thinking about what to do right now, I would seriously consider restarting production and doing a partnership with Opel, their former unit in Europe, to see what the appetite is for consumers there. Because one of the other problems that GM has is that, as we all know, the lower gas prices or oil prices are, the lower the likelihood that people are interested in electric vehicles, because they don't need the mileage, but they do want SUVs, which this is. So I really think that why go to the market where nobody's interested in your product versus going to places with very high gas prices that would love to have one of those cars. So I really think that as I watch this coming out, I'm disappointed in the GM executives, because it seems to me they're doing everything possible to set this up for Tesla to win. You have a car that's mediocre looking. It came out before the Model 3, which is a good aspect, but it doesn't have supercharger abilities. If you want to travel long distance in it, you're stuck because you have to stay overnight someplace to charge your vehicle. It's the perfect, we've got a product, but it's not supported in a way in terms of form and fit functions to be a successful item. On the flip side of this really shows that Tesla really has an infrastructure that is appreciated by consumers, and that's not easily replicable. And therefore, even if the company that's competing is huge and has a large dealer network, there's no guarantee of success if your form factor and function does not meet the standard that's being laid down by the leader, in this case Tesla. Kudos to Tesla for anticipating the type of issues that customers may want and need. I really think that Tesla is putting a lot of pressure on even the big manufacturers, because when you add up supercharger to at-home repairs to sort of interface between company computers in your car, there's a number of advantages, some of which are easy to respond to, but others are very challenging to respond to and take time, particularly the battery design. I just think this all adds up to an infrastructure of form and function that is hard for others to compete with. So I'm kind of fascinated here by this as well, because as you'll notice in one of my earlier videos, Bob Lutz had articulated the fact that Tesla had no real advantages that couldn't be bought, and therefore destroy the success that they're enjoying. And if his old company GM is having to, shut down production while you have Tesla with long lines waiting to buy, I think this is a clear illustration of the fact that Tesla is a solid company with real competitive advantages that are not easily destroyed, even if the companies they compete with have a better dealer network and more capital to work with, etc. I want to thank you for taking time out to view us once again. This is Greg at Tesla Fan Insight. Please like and subscribe. Tschüss, macht's gut, au revoir, tout à l'heure, le hydrolote, Khoda Hafez, and look forward to our next conversation.